Bringing you the latest news from around the world, and here at home, I'm Sandaru Ferdinando.
And I'm Nicola De Zoiza. We start off with our top stories.
Police use water cannons to disperse unemployed graduate protest. CEB, railway and university non-academics to take strong decisions over the failure to solve their issues. President opening second parliamentary session requests to leave aside political power struggle and serve the people. 16 SLFP MPs who withdrew from the government take their seats in the opposition. Judicature Amendment Bill to be presented to Parliament once again tomorrow.
This afternoon, police used water cannons to disperse a protest by unemployed graduates who are demanding jobs.
Now, in addition, the Ceylon Electricity Board Engineers Union launched a Work to Rule campaign citing failed talks with authorities over their issues.
Railway trade unions were prepared to go on strike from midnight today.
University non-academic staff have threatened to go on strike once again, citing the solutions promised for their issues have not been met as yet.
The Joint Unemployed Graduates Union launched a protest march this morning from Fort Colombo demanding job opportunities in the public sector. Police took measures to close Lotus Road and obstruct the march from proceeding, and at the same time heavy traffic was experienced in the area. When the protesting unemployed graduates attempted to break through and proceed further, police used high-pressure water cannons to disperse them. Thereafter, 5 representatives from the Joint Unemployed Graduates Union were permitted to discuss their issue with officials from the Presidential Secretariat. As these talks failed, the protesters moved away from Lotus Road and converged at the road leading to the parliamentary complex in Kotte.
The Prime Minister said 1 million jobs will be created. We are only requesting 60,000 jobs. The graduates have not resorted to begging in the streets. Give us jobs. We say to the Prime Minister, do not mislead us again with promises to provide jobs. We urge the Prime Minister to start providing graduates with employment. There are roughly 60,000 unemployed graduates. If they cannot provide jobs to 60,000, how will they provide jobs for 1 million? There's no need to speak about 1 million jobs. We challenge them to create 100,000 jobs in the public service.
Around 8,000 to 10,000 graduates enter the unemployed cluster annually. The ever-growing number of unemployed graduates in Sri Lanka for a period of 6 years since 2012 has reached 57,000. In April this year, applications were called to recruit 20,000 graduates as Samurdhi officers. However, this process has come under strong criticism as well. University non-academic staff today convened a media briefing claiming authorities have turned a blind eye to their requests despite having conducted protests for several days. Their main demand was for the promised 10% monthly arrears to be paid to them.
The circular with regard to this 10% was issued on the 12th of April. Again, on the 27th of April, the chairman of the University Grants Commission issues a circular claiming the circular issued on the 12th will include Circular 2018/03. Conditions are being included into this. The chairman and the deputy chairman of the UGC are working based on their political appointments. They have done nothing that would benefit education at national level. Lists for universities come through the ministers, requesting new recruitments be made. The university non-academic staff are uneasy over this situation.
4 railway trade unions have given authorities a deadline until 12 noon tomorrow to solve their issues. 4 trade unions representing the railway operators, controllers, station masters and engine drivers were to go on strike with effect from midnight today. However, it was postponed following a promise made to solve the issues before the deadline.
We request for the salary to include the MP1 and MP2 scales as well as a professional salary scale. However, these committee recommendations have continuously been delayed by an unseen force. That is why we decided to go for a strike action at midnight. Sarath Amunugama made a phone call and said he would produce a cabinet paper on this tomorrow and will extend his complete support to solve this by tomorrow.
The Ceylon Electricity Board Engineers Union launched a Work to Rule campaign today as they did not receive a positive response for their requests made over the long-term power generation plan. Their campaign includes working only during their shift as well as not reporting to work following emergency calls.
Since 2015, the CEB did not have a plan of constructing power plants. At present, the entire system is a mess as approval has not been sought from the Public Utilities Commission. Since we have no plan, not a single power plant was constructed after 2015. The CEB is facing an energy crisis. We have not been given a solution that we can be satisfied with. We have decided to launch a Work to Rule campaign.
State Minister of Power and Renewable Energy Ajit P. Pereira said the matter will be taken up for discussion at the cabinet meeting tomorrow.
President Maithripala Sirisena opened the second session of the 8th Parliament this afternoon.
President Maithripala Sirisena was accompanied by a mounted escort to open the sessions, keeping with British parliamentary tradition. The President was welcomed to Parliament by the Speaker and the Secretary General of Parliament. Thereafter, a guard of honour and a gun salute was accorded to the President. The President was escorted to the robing room by the Speaker and the Secretary General of Parliament, where the Head of State was welcomed by school students who recited the Jayamangala Gatha. Subsequently, the President entered the parliamentary chamber and took his seat in the Speaker's chair to open the second sessions of the 8th Parliament.
This is not the right time for our country, for parties and groups to have a political struggle, but a time to resolve the challenges and issues before us. To make this priority a reality, first, the political struggle between parties in the national government and the competition for power between the government and opposition has to be resolved. It is the people who suffer the consequences of these power struggles. There are various criticisms and allegations that are raised against the government. As government, we will humbly draw attention to all of these allegations, and I must state that we will self-review it as well. But there still remains criticism over the fact that there are large-scale fraudsters who are roaming free and the necessary action isn't being taken against them. It is our primary objective to apprehend the corrupt and take the required measures against them. When considering the challenges that the country is facing, we have a massive debt burden upon us. We have to rid the country of wastage. It is imperative that everyone works together with the impression that this is the country's last chance. The 2015 revolution, to which I gave leadership to, is not over yet. The role of the opposition requires new approach. The parties in the national government too needs to change their functions. The national government is comprised of parties that have varying views. All these parties must act like the Vajji mentioned in the Buddha sermons. They possessed values and they acted in peace. We have to truly follow the Vajji. As a president, I acted based on those values for the past 3 years. I strongly believe that those values will be the reason for the victory of the country and its entire citizenry.
The President spoke about the commitment to strengthen national reconciliation.
The basis of a stable country is the national reconciliation. To ensure true reconciliation, it is important to introduce new structures of political decision-making. To achieve these objectives, I believe that it's the need of the hour to strengthen the provincial council system. Irrelevant of the criticism that is raised, there should be a political program to resolve the unease and discomfort faced by the people of the North on a permanent basis. Though we were able to physically defeat the terrorists, we have not been able to completely defeat their ideology. In the past 3.5 years, I have attempted to defeat the ideology with international cooperation as well. We have to accept that post-conflict management is a challenging affair. When we look over, government providing solutions to this problem had been delayed by 7 years, and it was a tedious task. A lot more needs to be done to rid the society of the war mentality and to establish reconciliation. A government alone cannot do this. All factions of the society must directly intervene to achieve this. I invite all factions to unite and work towards that objective.
Following the President's address to Parliament, the parliamentarians were hosted to a tea party. Let's have a look.
The 16 members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party who defected from the government Saturday, opposition side in Parliament today.
SB Disanayaka, Dayasiri Jayasekara, Sudashini Fernandopulle, John Seniviratna, Chandime Veerakkodi, Lakshman Yapa Abeyvardhana, Sumedha Jayasena, Lakshman Vasanta Pereira, Dilan Pereira, Taranath Basnayaka, Susanta Punchi Nilame, Andru Priyadashani Yapa, Anuradha Jayaratna, TB Ekanayaka and Tilanga Sumatipala, who stepped down from their positions in the government, sat in the opposition today. Following the conclusion of parliamentary proceedings, a ceremony was organised at the entrance of Parliament to welcome these MPs.
It was reported during the welcome held for the 16 SLP MPs near the Parliament, the firearm of a police sergeant attached to the Ministerial Security Division had gone missing. DIG PLR Disanayaka said an investigation has been launched over this incident. Now, before taking their seats in the opposition in Parliament today, the 16 SLFP MPs called on the chief prelate of the Amarapura sect, Agamaha Pandita Most Venerable Kotuvegoda Dhammavasathero.
वर्तमान जनाधिपतिතුමා හිටපු ජනාධිපතිතුමාත් හැකියාව තිබෙනවා නම් හිටපු ජනාධිපතිතුමියත් සියලු දෙනා මේක රාශී කරගෙන 16 දෙනා කණ්ඩායම කොට ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ නැවත ශක්තිමත්ව කටයුතු කරන අදින් පස්සේ අපිට අවස්ථාව ලැබෙනවා. මට නම් පේන ප්‍රධානම දේ
What I see is there seems to be a state of panic created over the abolishment of the executive presidency. If it isn't happening now, how is it supposed to happen? There may be shortcomings in the executive presidency, yet if not for it, there would have never been an end to the war. Recently, there was a proposal from the Ministry of Finance to permit women to be employed at liquor stores and purchase alcohol. They must have spoken about it in cabinet, but we are aware the president stopped it. There was also an attempt to introduce unconventional marriages in the country, which the president again was able to stop. The pros in the executive presidency should be protected in the future as well. That is the suggestion of the Mahasangha. Following the discussion, the parliamentarian spoke to the media. The Prime Minister said the Samurdhi Bank would be brought under the central bank. He said something else that was serious. He said 2,750 million rupees had gone missing. If 675 cents went missing, I would take complete responsibility and I'm willing to accept any punishment for it. Our request was for a complete restructure of this party before the 8th. Through that restructure, our comrades in the joint opposition can rejoin us. They don't have to run behind any flower bud. The task of these 16 is to reunite everyone. Many of us did, but Sumedha and I even got onto the stage. I am the party's treasurer. I have to be there. Now, Dilan Pereira will say he attended, but he did not get on the stage because of his policy and his disagreements with certain high officials. Nevertheless, our attempt is to get the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and UPFA out of the national government and take the opposition forward.
Views were expressed regarding the stories which we just followed on the political program Maima on TV1.
Several news reports show the conditions that should prevail when governing a country and the conditions that should not.
Definitely, the railway employees are preparing for a strike action. The CEB too are launching a work to rule strike action. We don't know whether these issues will be solved by tomorrow.
The non-academic staff at universities protested for months.
Water cannons were used on protesting unemployed graduates. On one side, people might think that these are done for show. When there were issues like this cropping up in the past, the topic of reconciliation also came up to the forefront.
That responsibility was handed over to former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga.
Whether anything happened in that front is a question mark.
The common people brought this government in with a lot of hope, especially on the resettlement and rehabilitation of the people in the north and the east.
There was a cabinet of ministers that was appointed. A cabinet reshuffle has been done for the 4th time. 16 people who defected from the government took their seats in the opposition. Is this what the people aspired for? Will the aspirations of the people become a reality through all of this?
The aspirations of the people will not become a reality. Not only that, the people will become disappointed to a level where they do not have faith in democracy itself as well as these political parties.
There's a debt mountain of 10.3 trillion rupees. Even the unborn child is now in debt. Who will repay these debts? The politicians have become showmen on the political stage.
There are various political gangs. There are school gangs. There are class gangs. None of these parties have unity.
The Judication Amendment Bill, which was drafted with the intention of expediting judicial proceedings on large-scale fraud and corruption, is to be presented to Parliament tomorrow.
The Supreme Court, in its interpretation of this bill, which seeks to take up such cases before a permanent High Court trial at bar, stated a 2/3 majority and referendum will be required on certain sections of this bill. However, as Parliament was prorogued in April, the bill must be reintroduced to the parliamentary agenda and therefore it has been included once again.
Creating a special judicial system had been a deception, mainly due to past justice ministers and ministers who were in charge of law and order. However, we were able to appoint a minister to fulfill the duties that her successors failed to carry out. As a fruitful result of this, we are able to present this bill to Parliament tomorrow. Some even filed cases against this act in the Supreme Court. They were the ones who played a major role in committing financial fraud and murders. Now, all we have to do is pass this in Parliament with a majority vote tomorrow.
This bill has been drafted while protecting judicial independence. We also have taken steps to ensure that no clauses in the 13th Amendment to the Constitution are violated by this. The power of appointing judges to the trial at bar will not follow the traditional method as high courts. It has been removed from the Judicial Service Commission. This bill has also been structured to facilitate several recommendations made by the Chief Justice. The Third Amendment says the power vested with the Attorney General and the chairperson of the Bribery Commission to file indictments regarding certain cases has to be done with the regulation of the Chief Justice. We have changed those 3 points, and while respecting the Chief Justice and the judiciary, we will present this act to the Parliament tomorrow.
ඇමතුමා මේ කවද්ද දැන් මේක හෙට දින සම්මත සම්මත වෙනවද කොහොමද හෙට සම්මත වුණොත් කවද්ද පළවෙනි උසාවිය
The Chief Justice will decide those.
කයිද ඔබතුමිය හිතන්නේ
We cannot decide that. Chief Justice will decide on that. We have provided the necessary circulars for him, so the proceedings can start at any time.
දැන් ඒ කියන්නේ මම අහන්නේ දැන් හෙට සම්මත වුණොත් ඇමතුමිය මේකේ
Based on the convenience of the Chief Justice, proceedings can even start day after tomorrow.
Emil Ranjan and Niyumal Rangajiva, who were arrested over the Valikota prison riots, were further remanded until the 22nd of May.
The case filed with regard to shooting dead 27 suspects and inmates following an unauthorized entry into the Valikota prison in 2012 was taken up once again today before Colombo Additional Magistrate Ranga Dasanayaka. Prisons Commissioner Emil Ranjan Lamaheva and IP Niyumal Rangajiva from the Police Narcotics Bureau, who were arrested and remanded over the incident, were produced in court today amid tight security. The additional magistrate ordered for the suspects to be further remanded and ordered the CID to produce a progress report when the case is taken up again on the 22nd of May.
We are of the view that the former Secretary of Defence and several others involved in this incident need to be investigated and produced in this case. It was not discussed in court today. The State Council produced a report today.
Fort Magistrate Lanka Jayaratna today permitted the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division to record a statement from former Central Bank Governor Ajit Niwad Kabral and investigate several bank accounts under his name.
The Fort Magistrate granted permission to the FCID with regard to the investigations carried out over the alleged misappropriation of 600 million rupees. The sum of 600 million rupees has been used to make Sri Lanka's bid for the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Submitting a B report to court, the FCID said the money was spent for the projects that came under the bid, which was placed during the reign of the previous government. However, the bid was not successful.
Leader of the National Unity Front, Azad Saleh, convened a media briefing today.
It is now proven that those in the flower bud were involved with the incidents that took place in Kandy. We were disappointed with the government and the police who has failed to issue a statement on the matter. Who took over the task of destroying property worth millions? The government has not revealed any of the MPs, ministers, members of local government bodies and organizers from the flower bud who were involved. We urge the government to reveal these details.
Azad Saleh commented on the United National Party as well.
The UNP has failed to conduct a May Day rally. When you look at the May Day rally held at the Sugatadasa Stadium, it was clear there were no important individuals in attendance. There is a serious issue internally. Rather than solving these issues, they put forward Sarath Fonseca to say the 2020 presidential candidate is Ranil Wickremesinghe. He says back then he informed them to put forward Ranil rather than fielding Maithripala Sirisena. If Ranil had contested, not only the UNP but the entire country would have been defeated. They say during the time of J.R. Jayawardena, second-tier leaders were created. It is true. They were important leaders by the name of Lalit Athulat Mudali, Gamini Disanayaka, Ranasinghe Premadasa and others. Now they are putting forward Fonseca to say who will be the presidential candidate. Such is the state of the United National Party. Let's now take a look at today's illustrated news by Asanka Ladwaheti.
The first ever Northern Province girls cricket encounter played with a leather ball will take place tomorrow. This game will be played between the Vaunia Hindu College and the Mena Sitivinagar Hindu College.
The game is part of Sri Lanka Cricket's program to uplift women's cricket in the Northern Province. The match is supported by the Sri Lanka Schools Cricket Association.
For the first time in the north, we are conducting a women's cricket match titled Battle of the Vanni, which will be played between the Vaunia Hindu College and the Mana Siddhavinayagar Hindu College. There is excitement over this game. We launched cricket in the area last year and we identified many talented youngsters. They lost their parents during the war. They are eager to play in this game with the opportunities that have been given to them. I believe this will contribute to the present situation in the country.
The match will be played tomorrow at the Vaunia Urban Council grounds.
We hope to play well in this game and emerge victorious. We are training well and we want to bring glory to our school. We believe we can win because we have trained well. This is the first women's cricket match for the Vaunia Hindu College. We are playing in our hometown and we are training hard and we are determined to win. We have talented players with us in this team.
Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Do take care and good night.